Hi folks, Doc Sprocket here, freezing my butt off in the name of mower modders everywhere. I've had some requests to hear the new exhaust system, so we're going to fire it up and let you hear it. Now, I'm not sure if that sounds as good from a distance, the other end of the internet, as it does in person, but it's not incredibly loud, but it is pretty throaty. It's got a nice rumble to it. Anyway, so I'll just give you a little bit of an update on what's been going on with this thing. I've got the electrical system torn to pieces right now because it was a disaster, and I think I'm going to relocate the battery and do a bunch of stuff like that. Plus the charging system on the engine is not working. I think the regulator rectifier's pooched. I've got AC coming out of the stator, but no DC coming out of the reg rec. So we're going to have to look into that. So meantime, here's a quick look at the exhaust system. Just a basic little flap cap here. It's actually kind of cockeyed. I'll have to straighten that up later. And, you know, you just can't argue with that sort of price. The muffler is a crotch rocket carbon fiber Hindle Stealth dealio that I got for free from a buddy of mine, which is all good. The piping is just electrical conduit that I hand bent. I'll open the hood in a minute just to meet the required curves and get it where I want it. And then I took a piece of 2-inch pipe and just basically smashed it and welded it into a collector. I did not do a particularly beautiful job on it because I wasn't even sure if I was going to like it, but seems to be working out good. I am going to have to brace this to the chassis soon enough. Now, some of you have already heard me mention that this is a breakaway stack. The idea here is this fantastic little coupler here. You can get them from any plumbing store, and it's basically designed to connect two different types of pipe. You can use it to connect ABS plastic pipe to iron or whatever for drain fittings and such. It normally comes with a rubber coupler in it. I've taken the rubber part of the coupler out, and what you're left with is a stainless steel sleeve and a couple of hose clamps. And what I've done, which you obviously cannot see right here, is I've left about a 3/4 of an inch gap between the collector and the muffler pipe. So there's a space in there. And the idea here being is that if I whack the stack off a tree or roll the machine or anything like that, that coupler is simply going to let go instead of putting a ridiculous amount of load on the the exhaust ports on the engine. We don't want to break the engine. We don't want to hurt the engine. We want the muffler to break away. That's the idea there. Driving around, it seems to hold pretty firmly. Like I said, once I get things braced up, I'll feel better about it, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to do what it's supposed to do, which is stay put when I want it to stay put and break away when I want it to break away. Another little feature we've been working on, mind the shadow. Another little feature we've been working on is the Heineken Mini-Keg fuel tank. And I'll just give you a quick glance at that. That's a 5-liter mini keg of beer. You can get them at the beer store and the LCBO if you're in Ontario, wherever the hell else they sell beer. I'm not sure about US availability, but I believe they're available in Europe as well. And what I've done here is I gutted it and I attached a marine style fuel filler. And I've got a vent fitting there, which you can see. Down at the bottom, you can just see that filter there. That's just the other end of the vent. I'm going to get that tucked up and out of the way. And I've got, see if I can get under there, just a fitting coming out of the bottom of the tank to feed the fuel, up to the fuel line through a filter, and there's the shutoff valve. And the other thing I've been working on is this little dealio. Yep, got that right. Snorkel time. I just had to. The intake box on this thing lends itself perfectly to a snorkel, so I had to snorkel it. So the snorkel is ABS drain pipe, and there's nothing particularly fancy about that. Sorry, I'm just going to come around here. I've put a little grate on there so that larger debris can't make it in as far as the filter. And the secret to this sucker working is this fitting right here, available from any plumbing store for about $2. And that is a compression style sink drain adapter that goes from your metal sink drain to 1.5 ABS plastic pipe. And that absolutely, like, this stuff never works out, eh? You know, whenever you go to modify something or adapt something, you got to work on it. And that thing bolted right on. It was amazing. I totally wasn't expecting that. So let's get the hood open, and you can just see the other end of that deal there. Like I said, forgive the electrical system. It's totally gutted right now, and I'm starting this thing off a booster pack. But if you have this particular style of airbox with the 1.5-inch round outlet on the side, right there, that fitting, just, it goes on perfectly. It's a dead perfect fit, watertight, whole shoot and match. You have got to like it. Completely bolt-on, no screwing around, no modifications, it just goes on there. So here you have a slightly better look at the conduit that I bent up, the EMT that I bent up for the exhaust. Nothing particularly fancy, I just brought them out of the engine bay and up into the collector. There's the back side of the gas tank for you, if you can see through the shadow. And you can also see that I had to really seriously screw with the factory hinges to get this hood to work with everything that's going on now. And one other thing I'd like to mention with this ABS snorkel pipe here is it does kind of stand up. I don't really want to brace it because that's going to be kind of a bit of a cluster. But one really nice thing about it, that particular fitting that I used, is that all you got to do is loosen the collar a little bit here, which I can do one-handed, and just tuck the snorkel down. And then tighten the collar up again, and you've significantly tucked it up out of the way. It's not going to be banging off branches or whatever the hell when you're trail riding. And then you can go full up if you want, if you're doing a serious water crossing. I could probably put it down a little bit further. Just kind of depends on where your legs are going. You could even shorten it. It doesn't have to be as high as I've made it. I just happen to have that piece of pipe kicking around, and for the sake of it, I really had to try just putting a snorkel together to see how it would go. So there you have it, folks. That is your MULE II update.